Yeah. Vanglorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United front.
Tell it.
What you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square, solid, and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick your can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K.
All right, live in the place to be. Peace and Black Power. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. It's just your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We here. It's Friday. It's nighttime, and we fighting. Okay, Friday night fights, and we got the Israelite warrior queen in the building, Sass Shwa Lewi. Let's see if she got an AKA today. AKA, I'm gonna slap knowledge in the face in real life.
For real. It could be that for real. That whole 20-minute dialogue before, like, I'm exhausted. I'm like very exhausted. But anyway, I want to say shalom, and I'm making that clear. You called me a what when you introduced me? A what?
I don't know. What did I call you?
An Israelite what?
Like warrior. Oh my bad. Warriors come out today.
Yeah, two important things, Israelite warrior, but
we discussed this movie.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
Yeah.
And
but before I
the
want
downfall of Warriors.
Yeah.
More stuff. So we only gonna be on here for like 20 minutes.
You breaking up. Say something.
Something.
Okay, because you were breaking up. Just so you know. All right, so you start.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna do a mic check.
Mic check.
Okay. All right. So you start.
You start.
You want to start? Or you want me to start?
Israelite warriors first.
All right. So like I was saying before, I was saying shalom, and yes, I'm an Israelite warrior, and we're going to be talking about the warriors and the fall of Black organizations. I don't know. I don't like the title of that, but I'll roll with it. And I also want to say happy Eid to all of my Muslim friends, and especially the ones I was hanging out with yesterday.
It was eating good, wasn't it? It was eating good.
I mean, they took over the whole entire park, and you know what? I fit right on in there. Like nobody really, they didn't think they thought I was like a Muslim or something, but you know, it was cool. I had a ton of conversations, different things going on in there, and I just want to say how enlightening and how much I learned. But I'm still an Israelite coming out of all of that. Just so you know, because oh Sass, chilling with them, whatever. I chill with anybody that's cool. But anyway, all right. So all right. So we were talking about we were getting a little bit into the Warriors and we were talking about the Gramercy rifts and the reason why, or the reason behind Cyrus, who apparently has a different name, was taken out. Yeah, it was taken out. I don't know his name. I don't know. You're gonna have to enlighten me. But
it's Ishmael.
Oh God, here we.
His name is Ishmael.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, so let's get that clear. Okay, so Ish came from we have to go back to the beginning. Ish came from Abraham and Sarah. Kinda. His mother was an Egyptian, right? So that would make him an African. That would make Ishmael African. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else about that, because when I talk to Arab Muslims, they don't even call Ish. They call Isaac. So just saying, they know something I don't know, but I just wanted to put that out there. They go back to Isaac. They don't even go back.
His name is Ishmael, and he doesn't get no conversation.
He doesn't get what do you mean? Like,
his name is Ishmael. Okay?
Yes, his name is
so
Ish.
That name, Ishmael, and then you have the character, they changed his name to Cyrus. So who's Cyrus now?
Oh my goodness. The the Babylonian king, right? That opened the door for through the Most High God to allow Israel to go back into their land. So he's a savior. He's one of the saviors. Yeah. He's one of the saviors.
So now you see why the ship was made. So it makes sense. There's credence that's there, because I agree with that 100%. And Cyrus was a savior.
And Cyrus was an African.
Cyrus was a savior, of course. So that means that like now you see the little switcheroo. You got two names of two Africans, and they got this light bright, ambiguous looking character that
here we go.
That sounds like Kwame Ture, one of the strongest Pan-Africans in the universe. You understand? Like
Black supremacy.
Yes, and you see the undertone. I think that it was brilliant, especially for 1979. I think it was brilliant. I think overall, just looking at the movie, I believe that the Warriors is the real point of the conversation about organizational decline, because it presents the real life organizations that we know and how organizations can be defunct based off of the 9 members that they had representing, because we never seen the rest of them. We only saw who made it to the end, those 6, plus that girl that they brought with them. So it was just interesting that there's a scene that they took out of the movie at the beginning where Cleon's girlfriend tells him not to go up there to see Cyrus. There's like 9 minutes of deleted scenes where there's different things that's going on, and there's certain aspects that they should have. Some of those scenes they should have kept, Some of them, they was pointless. They didn't even need to be there. They didn't even need to be available as deleted scenes. But there's a couple of scenes. That one scene right there was an eye opener into what it was. You got a black man that's the leader of this gang, and his woman is telling him, this black woman, clear black man, no dark skin at that. This thing's taken out of the movie to where she's telling them intuitively, like, bro, don't take your ass up there. I got a bad feeling about it. How important was that in regards to, a message, and then that message was taken out of the movie? That was a pinnacle scene. Right after that, he tells them why they going, what they doing, boom, 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 and all of that. It doesn't start like that. Now, what they did add in the movie was critical. That there was dissension and mixed feelings about actually going up there throughout. Everybody had them feelings. And that was part of the conversation. So I just stopped right there for a second.
Okay, so you're saying that because it's a black woman and she's talking to the black man, that scene should have stayed in the movie?
Yes.
I mean, did she go into why she had a bad feeling?
Yes. She laid it out for him. And she was like, what's so special about this guy anyway that y'all going up? Because they never left. Like, this leads into all of the conversation. They ain't never left Brooklyn. They ain't never been to the Bronx. So it's strange that all these people they're going up there. They can't bring more than 9 people. They can't be packing none of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody's trusting this that's going on. Like, he's going in solidarity, like everybody else who came there in solidarity. But nobody in his camp is drinking the Kool-Aid. Except one brother. Remember the conversation with the one brother? What do you know about Cyrus? His response was magic. Remember that?
A whole lot of magic, yes.
A whole lot, yes. Like you see, like, all this goes together with the whole savior complex, and why the savior got to be a light bright. That's an issue. It got to be somebody ambiguous looking, like it couldn't clearly be defined. And then the guy who's supposed to be the guy that's the one that's strong, and he don't care about nothing. It's this dark skinned black dude. Him, that's it. Like, he's supposed to be the one that's supposed to be relentless in his pursuit. He's not the one. See, look, it gets into that. So what was you about to say?
Well, I just I wanted to go back to why they couldn't leave Coney Island, because the reason is because everybody had their own turf. You couldn't just go into anybody else's neighborhood. And I think those gangs were, I don't know if they had something internal where they couldn't take off of their colors. What is that? What they called it? The colors. You can't go in there with your colors on, so they would just stay where they are. They were approached by an emissary from the Gramercy Rifts, right?
Yep.
To come down because we want to talk to you, and they agreed to a truce. That's why they left. They agreed to it. So if the black woman is saying to him, you shouldn't go, blah, 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 whatever, he would have broken the truce. Right? And I think during that time everybody, gave their word, right? And and they were part of the network. So they made the trip down there. Of course it was uncomfortable or whatever, but that was one of the main reasons why this is when the leader went ahead and did it. Plus, with everything that was going on during the time, they call that thing civil unrest. They call it back then. And forming a mega gang against the police. That sounded good to them, at the time, right? So that had something to do with it as well, right? So it was for a bigger cause. No?
I agree.
And this is no different than the different families and the different boroughs over there. This was just, I guess, one type of form. I mean, a certain type of form of it, because we know that on the criminal level, not street gangs, that they were connected in that way as well. But to say that, what are you saying? Are you saying that the leader of the warriors had like an affinity for, Cyrus, and was just like kind of buying the
Yes.
rhetoric? Is that what you're saying? He was mesmerized or whatever?
Yeah,
Because
everybody who showed up was their heads. Most of that's the only way things move. Just like you were saying, they wouldn't have went if he'd have said we're not going. Nobody was like fuck that, I'm going. They wouldn't have did that. But it took convincing for him and some kind of buy-in in continuity, because there's another scene that's left out to where what's the dude was trying to rape the little broad in the park. His
Ajax.
nut ass. Ajax was on full tilt, boy. Ajax was on full fucking tilt. He was ready to fight something or ready to poke something. Full tilt, 100%.
His readiness to fight was why probably why he was chosen to go.
Yes.
That's probably what it is, because they all had a reason as to why they were there.
Right. And that was his thing. Remember, he was like, maybe we could get some rap. Like, he was ready. He was ready. He was ready. And everybody who went was ready. Even the little dude that they made look like a punk. He got down a little bit. But them brothers were serious. Them brothers was serious. The two dark-skinned brothers, they was getting busy. The whole movie. One was a little foolish, but the other one that was a little lighter, he was getting busy. They both was getting busy. Them brothers got that. But what was his name? Ajax. Ajax he was on it. Ajax was on it. He was crazy to the motherfucker. And that's another reason why they took him. They ain't take him for his smarts. They took him for his brute.
Right.
He was 100% with the get down. 100.
Right.
Tired of running from these punks. He got busy. Like, he didn't give a fuck about none of that shit. He wasn't scared of them fucking skinheads. That it was a truck. What was a bus full of the motherfuckers? He didn't give a fuck either.
Well, Snow didn't think that Cleon was making a good choice when he chose him to go. He told him to shut up. He told Ajax to shut up, and he was complaining and stuff. So
that's all the stuff that go along in organization. This is the organizations that we know. It's the Pipe Dream organization was the Gramercy Riffs. We don't have organizations like that. They may look like they did in formation, but that's it. That's as far as it goes. And these are the woes that everybody would have to take back to the organization. Even the dude that was supposed to be the antagonist, the trigger man, he had problems with his own people.
Yeah.
They was like, yo, man, I'm not fucking with the riffs. I don't want no. Yeah, look, the white boy say, "Hey, this shit's cool, but hey, I'm not fucking with them riffs." The riffs didn't just have the gangs. The riffs had the police. So it was the appeal on the other part for Cyrus because he was president of the Gramercy Riffs, the largest gang in the city. So to be able to have that kind of influence and control over so many warrior men, because you seen them, they wasn't no joke. They beat the shit out of Cleon in 20 seconds. It wasn't even know none of that. Done. And now it's just whatever little underlings was right there, like bat, bat, bat. There wasn't no joke. So to have command over that right there, I think that goes along with the allure. So the like I was saying last week, that part was too fairy tale. It was too fairy tale to have that and say, okay, this is the organization, one gang, and it was gonna be ruled by him, and everybody was just gonna be okay with that shit. Everybody wasn't even okay with going over there, but they went. That's a different thing right there. And those delegates going back to their whole gang that was in the network, and then the other people that wasn't in the network, and then the other people that was under those people that was under that wasn't just gonna be like, yeah, we rolling with Cyrus and shit. We one gang now. That's the real point of the discussion for me in regards to organizational structures and how organizations become defunct. Black organizations, we've seen them go defunct for less.
I don't think he meant it one gang as a real one gang. He referred to them as affiliates. That's what he called them. So you have an organization who has affiliates. They're not a part of the actual organization that they got going. They're there for a purpose, for a reason, right? That's what he referred to them as. But when he was speaking his rhetoric, it was to kind of bring everybody together with, the type of thinking they have. Like, we're going to be, we have that one gang mentality. We're going to look out for each other. We're going to, do this. We're going to do that. I don't think that he meant that he was going to have one whole gang and control it. But you disagree with me, right, on that?
It's a hard sell, is what I'm saying. And like these delegations from these street tribes already had internal conflict. That's clear. That's why the Warriors was the best example to use, because they were able to put aside their differences, even though they were challenged at every juncture, and they made it back home. So that's 9 of them out of who knows how many it is actually, in their ranks. And that's the same struggle for everybody else to make it back home. Just regular. They didn't have targets on their head. They didn't have no bounty out for them. Just even going back with the idea is already a challenge, because it was already a challenge to get those people there.
Right. So the marketing tool was to come hear the marketing session. That's basically what it was. So we have a truce. Come and hear what I have to say. You have your 9 judges come out, and you can deliberate amongst yourselves once you get back home and see if there's something that you want to do. But because Cyrus got shot and killed, the truce is now over. Not to say that any of the gangs didn't have to go through what the Warriors went through, because I'm sure they had to. The truce was over. Right? So I'm assuming this because of the way everything was set up, how they were called to the Bronx and the way that the Warriors got home. So there was no truce. Were they doing it because he killed Cyrus? I don't think so. I really don't think so. They had to go through their territories to get home. And if you can't have a gang come stomping through your the place where you own. You just can't do it. So you're gonna have problems. But on top of that, the Warriors did have the bounty on their head. So there was a bounty. So if you get them, kill them or whatever. So that I guess they had two. What would you call it? Two two bounties basically.
Right.
They had to get through all of the gangs. Like I think all of the gangs had to get through because they were all in the Bronx.
Right.
And if you know the Bronx, you know what you have to get through to get back all the way back to all the way over to Brooklyn or wherever you're from, even Manhattan. It's a trek for everyone. So it only showed you the Warriors. Plus, the Warriors had they were blamed for. So the risk was after them specifically, but put the word out to everyone. You deal with the Warriors, we'll reward you. Blah blah blah. But I don't think that anybody agreed to anything though. They came to listen to what Cyrus had to say. So it didn't even start. He was just marketing and nothing started. And the people who took him out, that's what they wanted to do and they did it. Who those people are, I would say it was the government. I'm not sure how Grandma Cyrus had the police though. Is that what the director said? I'm not I never watched the director's cut. I'm looking at what was said in the movie, and analyzing it that way. Because obviously there was war on the streets all over the place. They had to send emissaries. And you know what an emissary is. That person is a person that go talk to another person, another emissary, because obviously there's a war going on. So, like a war actually happening at that time.
Right.
If you're sending emissaries out, nobody really bothers emissaries because they actually want to discuss things before we go to war. So or as we're warring, to keep the communication up, whatever, because we have something that we need to do and we're trying to conquer and blah blah blah. So anyway, are you disagreeing with me yet on anything?
No.
No. Okay,
No,
so
because who was it? What were they? The orphans or whoever they was? What was the first place? The joint where they snatched the girl from?
that was the
Orphans, right?
orphans. That was the orphans, and her name was strategically called
Mercy.
Mercy. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So it goes to exactly what you're saying. They had two obstacles. One obstacle they didn't know anything about until the Lizzies. The first obstacle was just to make it back home, knowing that they got to go through other people's territory. And these guys wasn't nobody. They wasn't shit. You see what I'm saying? Like he handed them a fucking newspaper article, and it was just like he was trying to negotiate with them. They call it the parlay. No parlay. You see what I'm saying? Like you just coming through here with no nothing, no parlay. You're like, yo, we trying to parlay right now. This is what we doing. Because I'm sure that them little misfits ain't really have nothing for them. And that's high profile to say that they had a rumble with the Warriors for them. So, they went to, that's one thing, because they was like, they're not in our network. They're like, what? Where? What the fuck is that? Like, who? What is that? You see what I'm saying? So that shit was, even with the level of visibility that they had, they still was looking at that like everybody else was strategic. That's the other part. When they sent the word through the network. So everybody else was looking for them, except for those cats that wasn't in network. So that was an example of how some shit just went left on their way back home. But everything else was coordinated. Everybody else was waiting for them. And the reason why I said including the police, because the white boy said, "Who caused this fire?" You gotta ask yourself who caused this fire at that next station. And the police was out there. And the police went right to the train for them. So the police was looking for them too. Because the police was behind them fucking skinheads, and then they went away, and then the skinheads bust that U-turn and came back for them. They was looking for them too. So everybody else, the fucking baseball bat motherfuckers, everybody was looking for them. Everybody else was on alert because the sister, even on the microphone, she was putting that word out, and they was getting updates. You said it, yourself. The other light skinned dude was coming, giving the updates the whole time. So this was coordinated
with the police. The police showed up during the presentation in the beginning.
Right. And they wasn't going to do nothing until the gunshot shit went out. That was strange too. Like that's the other part you was talking about. The operative situation. If there was no coordination with that, how the fuck would they know that all of them was going to be there and for them to come like they came? Because they came deeper than a motherfucker. They came out there with a platoon-sized element already ready. And they knew it wasn't going to be no opposition because everybody was going to be unarmed. That's interesting too.
They just knew everybody was going to be unarmed. You have to assume somebody's going to be armed.
They had batons. They didn't have their guns out. Everybody came. You seen them, right? When they rushed the park, they had batons out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just interesting, to have that many numbers there, and you already know you ain't got to pull your gun out. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, that's just their intel told them that. I don't know. Gramercy Riff's working with the police.
Yeah, not on no snitch shit. I'm saying like they had them in pocket, just like you were saying with organized crime. They had police in pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you have that much influence, you can pay.
Yeah.
To have them intervene or whatever. I don't know. I all right. So the fall of Black organizations. So who in the Gramercy Riffs really believed that no one was going to bring a firearm and had Cyrus out there like that and exposed? Because they showed. So like, because if I go back into, like, if I go into my conspiracy theory brain,
break it down.
It looked like a setup. It just,
yeah.
And of course, people, I don't know, it may reflect bad on the brother, the second in command, but it is what it is. War is war, whatever. We can't be, rubbing arms with other people, outsiders. We can't do that. We can't. We have our own organization. We can't be dealing with. We don't know these people. This is just not going to work because we know that somebody's going to screw up and or turn or go their own way or whatever.
The conspiracy looks greater now for the brother that he set Cyrus up for him to be killed.
Yeah, well,
so he could take over.
Yeah, well,
that's what it looked like. Excuse me. Yeah. On the other end,
Yeah, that's what it looked like because it had
I
him in
was looking
clothes.
at it from the other, militaristic standpoint. Like Cyrus was the peace loving kind of guy, and Buddy wasn't with that shit. He wasn't with none of that peace loving shit. Like he want all, I want all the like the way it's supposed to be. Like he like if you looked at it in terms of the Haitian Revolution, the statesman and the strategist was Toussaint Louverture. After the death of Toussaint Louverture, they thought, okay, this shit's over now. We got the cut off their head and the snake will die type of shit right there. The worst shit that they could ever do was kill Toussaint Louverture. Because General Jean-Jacques Dessalines was next in command.
Oh my gosh.
So, look, this is what I'm saying. Things change.
Oh
This
my,
like the worst. It's the worst thing you could ever do. The peace loving guy. That was it. Like they rioted after Dr. King. Like all of that shit. Like there were other these are instances right here to where when you look at it, because we're talking about black organizations, to where they learned from that. And police infiltration into 80 to 90% of black organizations is a fucking mandate. This is a real life thing. So whether we're looking at local all the way to federal infiltration into organizations that are black, from the earliest to the latest. That's how they work. This is what we know.
all right, so in a nutshell, the reason why black organizations fail is because I'll just read this by Booty T. Hagale. This is a little part from what he wrote about enculturation.
What?
Yes, what he
Is this
wrote.
an outside source? Was this in the movie?
I'm going. Yeah, I'm adding to what you're saying. I'm adding to what you're saying.
What? No,
You
I'm just
just said
go ahead.
that the outside infiltration, and
Yes.
that this brother was taking a stance, the second in command taking a stance by looking at the ancestors and learning from their mistakes. I be careful. I'm very careful when I go into like conversations like this, because it makes it kind of makes them look bad. Like, and from my interpretation of why Cyrus was killed or whatever, it looks bad for black skinned people. And that was reflected in the movie. Because when you do bring in the colorism in there, you bring it in there. Yeah, because Cyrus looked this way, and then you have in the background the second in command. He is obviously the general. He's obviously the general of their military, and he has the king. And I'm just saying that this is words we understand. So you have the king, you have the
Mhm.
general, or whatever.
Mhm.
They have their king out there exposed in front of the masses, and these are people they've been warring with for I don't know how long.
Right.
It just looked bad. So I don't I don't really like going there, but you brought in the
Go
infiltration.
there. Yeah, because he wasn't there. He wasn't there on the scene. And he comes down in the elevator like, I'm not dismissing none of that. Yeah, like he comes like he already knew what it was. And then boom, he just pops in, shit ain't happened. So just like I could make the argument for one side, I can make the argument from the other side. I'm not ignoring that. That's foolish.
So
What
he
was
comes
you about to read?
in with the understanding of this. And this is just something I just need to read it because the way that it's written here in a nutshell is just perfect. It's written by Butte Buti, B-U-T-I, Tahag, wait, I'm sorry, I had it right the first time. Buti Tahagale, T-I-H-A-G-A-L-E. And he writes, and I'm going to read from an excerpt from his Enculturation. He's speaking on this topic called enculturation, which means, which has nothing to do with the topic we're talking about, but it says bringing the African culture into the church. So he's referring to bringing African culture into the Christian church, which is European stuff, right? But we're not talking about that. He goes into this part. He says, this was the case under the apartheid system. It was the refusal to recognize Africans as equals, the refusal to recognize their own worldview and its inherent values that gave rise to the emergence of exclusively African churches. It was also this denial that compelled Africans to accept Christianity while still clinging to their own culture. The upshot was that the African culture in many ways remained closed and challenged in part by the new dominant culture, meaning the Europeans, colonization, colonialism, that's what they like to call it. We call that invasion, right? Or aspects of it withered away under pressure from both Western and Christian cultures. So African culture is not recognized. So it's impossible to bring your issue, your own specific issue, onto the masses. There's no reason to do that because it's not accepted. So you're saying the second in command, this was his whole thinking.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of things. Some of the major themes are, what the fuck is Cyrus doing? We all black, everything fine. He got all these people from all these different places and races and shit. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Like what are you saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, he has a vision that's grandiose, but he's not looking at the other problems that it could cause internally for everybody. He's looking at the benefits. What he said, it's a what did he say? The miracle, what did he call that shit? The way things ought to be.
Yes.
And miracles are the way things ought to be.
Yes.
So
he said, and that is a miracle, and he said, and that's the way things ought to be. That's what he said. Like, I guess getting everybody together without fighting, without warring, without, you know what I'm saying, for a general cause. This is going. Obviously, the Gramercy Rifts had problems with the police, but they were growing at astronomical numbers. But they weren't big enough to battle the police. Right. So to get that antagonism away, why not we gather all of the gangs that we have agreements with and, show our muscle that way, get them to back down. It's more of us. It would be more of us than them, because he even gave the numbers. Right. So, but we also have to look at the diversity within all those gangs. It was very diverse.
Right.
They were all black, and we saw another gang in there who was all black. We saw them. The other brothers in the beginning, right?
They was fresh. Hey, look, I'm telling you that there was no way in the world you could say, hey, that's a gang. Like, nah, you don't even know. They just some soul brothers. They was fresh. Okay, like like everybody else was looking a little filthy. They was looking fresh. They was clean. Okay, I'm sure when everybody was running and all that, they ain't even get touched. There wasn't anybody even bump into them.
You seen their shoes? Look at their shoes. They weren't right nowhere.
And that walks, look, soul brothers all down to the toe tips. Okay, like, yeah. So just even showing that level, like there's a vying power in there, but there's also detriment. There's organizations now that started off as black organizations, and now they begin to invite and give up that sovereign right of exclusivity to inclusion. And that's another way that it suffers, you know.
That's the word they're using today, but it's called integration, right? Back then it was
Right, right,
integration.
right,
Today they're trying to get slick with it and call it inclusion, and
right.
they even turned the word equality around to equity.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is getting out of hand. It's the same old from back in the day. Don't
right.
even get me started with that. Like,
So
can't.
this movie takes place in 1979, but it's based off a novel that comes out in 1965. So these warrior characters and things come from 1965. The Cyrus organization, you know, Gramercy Rips, everybody, like this is 1965. So it gives another cultural context when we're looking at black organizations in 1965. So by the time, and we looked at 1965 to say 1980, we saw the sharp decline and almost total decimation of black organizations in that time frame, 15 years. So if we went through and we looked at and named a few, that's exactly what you saw. And the strong case that I was looking to make last week, because the conversation was surrounding, was Cyrus a figurehead or not? The organization didn't crumble after his departure. It looked as if his savior mechanism showed just how powerful the organization was, and even to extend out how powerful the network was. So this saving grace of this Babylonian king Cyrus, with his departure, and nobody swooped in and say, "Oh, we're gonna fight it out for power," and who the hell is you, and how y'all gonna lead us if y'all can't even protect it? You know, all the shit that really goes down. Just like, you know, what the cracker said to the other dude, he was like, who made you war chief? You see what I'm saying? And he was ready to fight him for it. So the white boy said, maybe we need to talk about this later. But it was a challenge that was there, that was issued. Like, oh, okay, you want to be in charge? I'm supposed to listen to you? We about to bang for this shit. So that was interesting. He said, I got just as much right. Didn't he say I got just as much right to this as you?
Yeah, but then his brothers jumped in and was saying, he's, second and could stop it. You know what I'm saying? You know that if something happens, Snow is the one that's in charge. Like, you're trying to go over now because Cleon's gone and he's not here at this moment. So you're trying to flex. But yeah. I mean, he could have challenged him.
And that would have been, rightfully so. I think he would have got his ass beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? but that was an ass whooping he was looking to take, and I think he would have fell in line. But if it wasn't that intervention, in, them two soul brothers, I'm telling you, that was the truth. Them two soul brothers was the truth. Like, hey, come on, man. Hey, come on. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Like.
Before you get your ass whipped.
he saved his life. He about to get that ass whooped. Yeah. Because that's the motherfucker you had to kill. He wouldn't just been able to take that ass whooping and just go with it. And the other guy, Ajax, there's a deleted scene to where it looked like they wasn't fucking with Cleon neither. Like they had their own shit going on.
Because he was going off.
Yeah, he had to get the fuck out. He had to get the fuck on type situation.
I was about to say something about that.
Because he said to him, he said, this deleted scene. He said to him, like, what we going over there for? Basically, what the fuck we going up there to hear some nigga talk? Like, this is how they talking with each other. And he was like, "You're gonna do what you're told. You're gonna soldier." He said, "Okay, War Chief. This is Ajax now. This is the wild, crazy one that nobody could tame. Couldn't nobody tell him shit." He told him that shit in that deleted scene, and he was like, "Okay, War Chief." He said, "Okay, War Chief." This is before they even fucking left. So that means that they had some shit going on internally where it was already looking for him to be second in command. Or no, fucking War Chief in charge. So it's interesting that they had like certain dynamics that was there that goes to show organization. One of the greatest disconnects, if you want to have some dissension, you know yourself, in an organization, somebody who's supposed to be next or chosen for some leadership position and they don't get it. That's hell in the organization. Oh, I did all of this and this and this and this and this. You think sometimes what you do has you to be heir apparent. And just like we look in the Bible in regards to who wound up being the leader of Israel versus who was in line. So these are all dynamics that's presented there in our organizational structures that we didn't, really take into account. Like what Yana Marcus Messiah Garvey or Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, whomever these leaders were in these positions, there was opposition to them from within. So for all of the greatness, everything that was done, there was internal discord that led to the destructive nature of the organization being, brought out.
Yeah, but we know that when there's an outside threat, that internal beef and all that other stuff is put on hold, though.
Right.
Organization wise,
Mostly.
yeah,
Mostly.
that's supposed to be on hold.
Right.
The scriptures say that that Israel formed as one man. They were beefing they were all beefing.
Right.
It was crazy. But then when the Canaanites was acting a fool, they was like, okay, we got to deal with this right now because these people are relentless. We gotta do something. So they formed up and forgot about every bad thing there was. But you have to be on a different kind of level to think that way. Like that's a whole nother thing. But the immediate threat in that movie was the police. This is what Cyrus said.
Right.
That's what he said. It's and it says what it says. It says the initial discourse on enculturation presupposed a culturally hostile environment. So when you start mixing up with other people and other cultures, it creates a hostile environment. So I'm saying this to say, and reading from it to say that it's the same thing across the board. Any kind of discipline you look at, when you start talking about intertwining, intercultural, anything, integration, inclusion, there's going to be a hostile environment. It may sound good, we're going to include everyone together, but that's where you find the most conflict. That's just a fact. Everybody knows this. You find it in the Bible. You find it in all kinds of works from the ancient of the Western, going all the way back to Herodotus speaks about it and whatever he wrote, all the way back to and then forward Socrates and back then. And then you have all the mythical stories that you find in Africa saying the same thing. So this is not a new concept. And for people to deny it, I think they're lying to themselves, or they have no knowledge of this. They have no knowledge of this. So technically speaking, the brother that was second in command, if this was the case, was correct. And when you have somebody going off and bringing a potential threat to your organization, somebody got to step up and eliminate the issue, regardless if that person's in your organization or not. Right? So technically, Ajax will be correct as well with the Warriors. We have our own organization over here. That doesn't look right to us. I mean, he wasn't the only one that was questioning Cleon either. You know, there was out of the 9, most of them was kind of confused about this. Like, this is unhealthy. Like, why are we now, panning over to this organization? We have our own thing over here. We have our own turf. We have our own. Nobody comes in. We defend it well, and we're happy here in Coney. They got back to Coney. It was like, oh my God, they saw the beach. They felt like he was like, we're finally home. Like it was their paradise or whatever. Why would you want to, interrupt that? Why would you want to, why? So technically speaking and fundamentally and righteously, yes, they were both eliminated for, I guess, crossing the line. That's damn near treason, as far as I'm concerned. Giving your allegiance over to someone else, and then telling all of your people who you're leading to do that, and you don't even know what the direction is, right? So, yeah. So technically, how do Black organizations fall? When people start going off, that's number one, and breaking natural law. And number two, the outside infiltrators, the dominant society, as was said in what I just read. And you can also find out also throughout history, anything that you read that has anything to do with fall of civilizations have to do with outsiders. It always has something to do with outsiders. People getting intertwined with things that they thought was good, but then it ended up in a bad way. So, what do you think?
I agree. Certain shit got to get done, and it's not rosy. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, when people say that they want something, what you prepared to do for it? You know, it's an example I'm gonna point to in the movie, but I wanted to talk about another part because you said treason, and treason was deep in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that devil's face when he walked in there and seen all them brothers up in there, and he was the one that said that it wasn't the Warriors, it was this other motherfucker?
What scene?
The scene when the brother brought him in and was like, I think you need to hear this.
Oh, yeah.
You remember his face?
Yes, I remember.
Like, he did not want to tell these niggas
He didn't want
that.
to go up in there. Yeah.
Yeah, he did not want to be. He didn't want to be the one in that motherfucker telling no niggas. Like, if it was another brother and the brother came in there, oh, it was this. He didn't want to be the one to betray his own people.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what he did,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't want to be the one to betray his own people. That's another part. The other part I wanted to talk about real quick was them dykes was the downest motherfuckers in the movie. Because they went past whatever decision that they chose. They wasn't fucking with no men, but they was damn sure playing that little role right there to lure their ass back into that trap so they could kill their ass. That's what the shit was. They wasn't trying to bring nobody in. They was trying to kill these motherfuckers. They was gonna bring them in dead. So I think that was ill to show And if the little brother wasn't on point, they'd have been done in. Yeah, I already got cut up in there. Shorty pulled that piece out and got the blasting up in there. But they had them looking comfortable. So there's no way in the world you on your journey back home to some unknown. But these are things right here. These are deviations off the path like you was talking about. Like Ajax was needed for the rest of the battle back home, but he got caught up about his distraction. And old buddy was like, the fuck, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you don't see nothing wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Like he know damn well that, you know, that shit was some setup. The fuck you doing? Like, it's just that shit, certain shit goes from, you know, unnatural. That shit was out of, that's not some shit that happened.
Swan did. Snow was trying to help him, but Swan wanted him gone. He said, he said, we don't have time for this. Like, he said, man, we should go back. We should go back and get him. He wasn't, he knew he wanted him gone. And by the time they got back there, he was gone. So that was a relief to Swan, because not only is he dealing with the Gramercy Rifts and all the gangs all over New York City, he got to deal with Ajax trying to kill him. So that's, you know, that he had to go. So
well, Ajax was rolling with him though. Ajax was rolling with him, but Ajax made that decision right there.
He couldn't be trusted anyway.
I agree, but he was a rider. This is why they had him like there. You see what I'm saying? Like, he was there for, like I said, the brute. So the brute swings on both sides. You know, he wanted to fight something or poke something, and then when the opportunity came up to poke something.
Look, he made that decision, but Swan was the one in charge. He had to listen. He had no choice but to listen to him. And Swan didn't push the issue. If he would have pushed the issue, Ajax wouldn't have got locked up. I think he did that on purpose.
Well, that's what it looked like. The deleted scene that they left out the movie, there's a part where he said, when they at the train station before they get into it, what was it? Who was the last ones that they fought in the bathroom and shit?
I forgot who they were called. The woman said, the sister on the radio said it. The guy who had the leader had the skates on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes shit was he learned how to ride roller skates for the movie. He never rode roller skates before, just for the film. He learned.
That's thought crazy. That was so cool. We thought that was so cool and different.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when we were younger, like we thought that was so cool. Like, how was he able to do that? Going down, like, that's a whole hill.
They say he practiced that shit. Like, he did that shit. And then if you look at it, you could see a little bit to where he didn't go straight down. Like, he went from side to side.
Right. He has skills. Yeah, he has some skills. That's what I was saying. He was coming down the hill. I said, wow, like, he got skills. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but they were on the turf. So they knew they had to come through there. If you know, they know the train systems well. They know what they have to do to get home and where they got to go through. So yeah, they were there. And that's when the fox got killed, right? So
right.
Messing with the cops.
Well, messing with the director. The director said fuck him and made sure that he died in the movie.
And that going back to Cleon, he had an unhealthy connection to Cyrus. Like, you know, he went into that the first definition of religion, you know, that superhuman person is as if Cyrus is a superhuman person, like how you would say he was like a Christ, right? He was right. Christ-like, right? So right. Yeah, he fell into that. You know, he had faith in Cyrus, And the others is like, what the hell going on? Like, what is this? This is crazy. So yeah, at that point, yeah, that's treason. So that's why I called it treason. That's treason. If that was the case, he should have left, the Warriors and went to the Gramercy Rifts. That would have made more sense.
Right.
But they made a point to pan around the audience in the beginning, to pan around to see who you're looking at, and there was a lot of different faces in there. I don't know how you convince all of those different types of people about, I mean, he said they had one common thing, that the police would mess with them or whatever. Why was the police messing with them though? That would have been a good question to ask as well. They didn't bring up anything racial in the movie, so at that point, so what are we talking about here? Were they all criminals? What were they doing? So that's another thing. Like, why do we need to go after, the police? Why do we need to even do this thing? And then you're asking us to come, defenseless. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot. And that was a setup. That was definitely a setup. I wouldn't be surprised the other person on the phone was the, the second in command, and then he ended up killing them. But he would expose them at the end, wouldn't he? If it was the second man, right? He would have exposed them, maybe, right? I don't know. Or maybe he thought he was talking to somebody else, because nobody knew who that person was.
Right.
So we can speculate, right? That they were getting paid to get rid of, but they got into trouble because the Fox saw them and they needed to get rid of that person. So that was their whole goal.
Yep.
But if nobody saw them, it wouldn't have been nothing. Everybody would have went back to their own places, and that would have been it. It wouldn't have been any more truce. It wouldn't be any more. It probably would. The affiliates would have probably been, that whole affiliate thing would have probably been gone too. But in organizations, you need allies. How you feel about that? Needing allies, because sometimes you're not big enough to fight extreme wars, and you need, your the people who, on standby, doing favors for each other. Which, how you feel about that, whether regardless of what they look like?
I ain't touching that right there. I ain't touching that. That was good though. You did that. Like, you laid it out like real great. That was real great.
You don't want to fall into that. Okay, so you like the brother is the second in command. Like, we don't need anybody's help. We don't need it. We're doing well. We're growing. We're the biggest. We could damn near eliminate all of these people if we had to. But we know, in military science, the importance of allies. Some allies are loyal until they're not loyal anymore. Some can be loyal forever. I mean, but this is why you have to give them incentives. It's not that you're in bed with them. Obviously, you're paying them. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's for free. You're not doing anything for free. So you're not destroying yourself while you're doing it. So, I just
the end
had
of the
to
movie
ask.
was deep. That was good. That was good. Still a good job. That was great.
Yeah,
At
well,
the end of the movie was deep. He said, "You warriors are good, real good." And Buddy said the best. His response to that was, "Everything else is ours." That's it. That was it. So he had another plan. Cyrus had the political. He had the straight gangster takeover. Supremacy. That's what it was. We not fucking with y'all little piece. Everything else though, it's a wrap. So he gave whomever it was, the real prize was if they would have took out the warriors and delivered them, whoever that was would have had autonomy. Everybody else, they was done in. So that olive branch to unify under one, blah blah blah, one gang, that was his approach. He like, nah, I'm getting on some guerrilla shit. I loved it though. From that one question, it was twofold, and that's what motivated the shit throughout the whole movie. Who are the warriors? So you look at this situation and say, who are the warriors? We talking about the group, and then from amongst his ranks, who was gonna be the warriors to get these motherfuckers? Who was gonna be the ones amongst them to make sure that this was responsible? So that's another question. And when you look at our current organizational structures, when some shit happens, where's the retaliation? Where's the retribution? I know that there are blurred lines and shit because I know from experience that the lines are very fucking blurred and skewed. So this was the question in regards to who are the warriors and what's their duties and responsibilities. So he approached the situation with absolute authority. I want them found. I want all the warriors alive if possible. If not, wasted. There wasn't none of that shit. So anybody that was in the way that thought they had a different thought in their mind, it was gonna be done in. So that was his stance from the beginning to the end. That shit ain't waver. Even with the cracker, when he hit him with the knife in his arm and shit, he said, "We got who we came for. We got who we was looking for." That's the only way that they got out of that situation. I don't really see in no real life instance that they would have let them walk away because you knew too much. But I'm in my banter ism right now. Yeah, my banter on. Talking my ish, my ass. Are you there?
Oh, I'm here. I got booted. My bad.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about that.
You were talking about it. I heard a part of it
Talk,
and everything.
talking about some ish.
We got, but at least we got to the nitty gritty. I wanted to add that like for some reason on social media, I'm seeing a lot of oh my god, you know the pro black accounts are posting pictures from back in the 60s of black classrooms, and they'll say this is from circa whatever, a black classroom, and it's talking about pre integration or whatever. And then I go to the comments. So I immediately go to the comments when I see pictures like this. And the majority of people in these comments are saying we should have never integrated. It's just interesting, in a time where pushing inclusiveness and trying to get rid of biasness, and black people asking for inclusion with to these white companies saying make products for us, blah blah blah. You're not, make things that look like us and all the other things. And now it's going backwards, saying we should have never integrated to begin with. I mean, it's just interesting. Um, when you read the comments, when you see these pictures, I make sure to read the comments every time I see somebody post that, because 9 times out of 10, people are saying, well, why did we even do it? Because it destroyed us. So, I mean, it's starting to come out. Whether they believe that, or they're saying now that it's a bad idea, at least they're saying it, right? So yeah, so there's lessons to learn, for sure.
Yep.
With that. So yeah. So same thing. So I don't know.
Man, you dig it.
Did we ever get the name of the second in command?
No.
We never got his name. His jacket was
Ain't that some
fly.
shit?
Yeah, his jacket
Fly.
was fly though. His shades was fly.
Right. Did he even take them shades off?
Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That dude was. We don't know who he was.
That's the only movie he ever been in. Like I said, I told you.
All he needed was probably a top hat. He looked like the boogeyman.
Right, and he was a short dude.
Yeah, he was
Like
short.
what? Yeah, what kind? That's another thing. Like, what kind of authority he had? All them tall brothers that was up there. It looked like they could have smacked them around. I'm telling you that shit. Like, I'm like, look, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, he was short. He was quite short. Yeah, he was quite short. Yeah.
He came in there thugging. Telling.
Yep. Yeah, but the risk was on a whole nother level. That could have been it too. He could have been like, we're like, listen, we are a real organization. We're the real deal here. Look at this riffraff out here. Because they did pan the audience and everybody looked like, this is
Everybody looked
definitely not
raggedy than a
going to work.
motherfucker.
Right. This is not going to work. This is ridiculous. Like, no. Mm-mm.
And everybody was old. Like they made that shit look like they were some young people. Everybody was like 25, 20. Like there wasn't nobody in their teens in that movie. Everybody was old as shit. The other, what's her name? Mercy. She was like 30.
Yeah.
Because they show, they did like what, from then now, from the time they did the movie and shit like that. She was 30. The little dude, the one that looked the youngest, he was 24.
Yeah, let that be a lesson learned that women are warriors too. I mean, just like how you said, the Lizzies. I mean, a lot of men overlook that, like, and as well as children as well. You got a well-trained child will never get abducted, will never be violated, will never, be taken advantage of.
They
So
put it all in on the line,
yeah.
all the way down to what they don't do. I'm like, these broads wasn't no joke. They in there, yeah, come on, baby, blah, 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 blah. Oh, come on, let's dance. You clearly see these two broads is with each other.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They put that shit to the side to ice your ass. Like they wasn't even like there wasn't no negotiation to where they ain't even look at it like, oh my goodness, she's in here shooting. That was the plan from the jump street.
Well, they were doing that in front of those guys for obvious reasons, That right there was to bring attention to and to throw them off, and it did. It did throw them off. Not only them, but Mercy as well. Like she was tough. She was a tough. She got them in line. Like she should have been the leader of the orphans.
I think she was something.
No, she was just no. They called her a whore. She just was out there.
No. She was something before. Because if she was the whore that they called her, he said, I should have smacked you when you open your mouth. And she said, what's stopping you? He know what the fuck was stopping. You know what I'm saying? Like he know what the fuck it was. Like You don't have somebody that just random come out. Y'all just gonna let them walk through nothing. Blah, blah. Like
Yeah.
you don't say no shit if you don't got no stripes from somewhere.
Now, not to turn the conversation around and to make this go long, but black women are accused of hating on black men and destroying black men when we say stuff like that. You know, we will say that. Like, if you're getting punked, we're gonna tell you, like, you're gonna let that dude say that to me. You're gonna let, you know what I'm saying? They say, oh, that's bringing trouble to, women are causing trouble or whatever. No, no, no,
That's a
no.
refocus.
There's some man things that you need to do. And if we're calling you out on it, whether it's get a job or have some respect or pay your child support or, you know what I'm saying? It's yeah, it's the right thing to do. Because any other way, you're not even acting like a female. You acting like something else. I don't even know what at that point. So that was a very good scene. And that being a white chick who they say is submissive, you know what I'm saying? Don't do this stuff, right? So that's a good example right there.
That was
Because that's
clever.
all lies. That's all lies. Black women should know better. No, no, no. No woman is submissive like that. None. Okay? Women are catching hell all over the world because they don't want to be told what to do. Okay? If they wanted to be told what to do, there wouldn't be any women's rights this and all these women having uprisings all over the world or whatever. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're being told to shut their mouth, right? When what they're saying is correct, right? And especially when I'm bringing it home, speaking about black women. Listen, we're supposed to be taken care of. I don't care what nobody says. So, I'm gonna keep going with that. The end. Very good scene. It's for we could pull that up and use that as for teaching purposes. Because
Yeah.
that's one of the greatest lies ever told too. That they better than us because they submissive and they don't tell you to get a job and they don't tell you to stand up and they don't tell you this and they don't nag you to death or whatever. Black women do that.
He said them vests look good. Let me just get one.
Yep.
Let
Take
me
it
just
off.
get
Come
one.
out of it.
You.
Yep.
She said you could get another one.
Yep.
She wasn't playing. She ain't playing. Look, you don't do no shit like that if you don't have no skin in the game. You don't even know what to ask. Like she wasn't random at all. There was nothing random about her. Nobody even know where the fuck she came from. She just popped up talking that shit immediately. Like refocusing.
She didn't know who they were. She didn't care. She was
She
fearless. She was fearless. She didn't care who, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to protect our home and that's it. So yeah, give it here and then we'll let you go. They didn't even say that. They said just take them off and we'll let you walk through.
what nation going take their flag down and walk through someplace else? Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
That's what that shit is.
that's where
That's where it
enculturation comes
goes.
from.
Right,
Yeah.
in regards to, but when your flag is lowered down all the way, that means you're defeated.
Right.
Somebody else's flag is going up.
Nobody
Yeah,
voluntarily does that. It has to have that hostile environment starts
yeah. If you in
that I'm
mourning, you
talking about.
see
Yes.
this shit about flags at half staff, but it's not. It's not down. If that
Right.
flag goes
Right.
down,
Hmm.
it's over. So if this flag comes up, that's why I was talking about that shit with this Black Lives Matter shit, with the flag being painted on the ground. If the flag touches the ground, you're supposed to burn it. What nation would be comfortable with the flag of your nation, your cause, being painted on the ground? What the fuck is that? Muhammad Ali said that he would not have his name on the ground where people could walk on it because he knew what the fuck his name meant and ain't put his name on the damn ground. Your flag is the same thing. The flag of your nation, the flag of your people, the flag of your ancestors, the flag of your God. The fuck you like what? This is a liberation flag that don't belong to no fucking faggots. Where you would have somebody painting this shit on the ground. That's crazy than that motherfucker. But I understand how that works.
I mean, but that's not our doing. I mean, you talking about the UNIA flag
Yeah,
on the ground? I don't even
yeah.
know. I don't even know why
The
they even
flag don't
using
even
that.
belong to the UNIA.
Right. I don't even know why they even messing with that. Why they even pulling that? That has nothing to
They
do with.
doing that on purpose. This is how you show a people defeated. This is how you show a people destroyed. This is how
Right.
you show a
Right.
people conquered. You got their flag. Their flag is on the ground,
Mhm. Mhm.
just like our bodies. You see what I'm saying? Like, so your flag is falling, your nation is falling. Look at your men. They're showing you your men doing all this whole other shit. Look, this is your men. Look at your women. They're showing your women doing all this other shit. Look at your children. They're doing this shit on purpose. All that shit is the flag.
It's no
All
long.
of it.
It's no longer a threat. So you're okay to fly that now. Back when it wasn't popular thing to
Right.
do, that was called treason. They call that treason. You did that in America. They
Right.
call that treason. I
Amazon.
mean, no other
Fucking
flag was
Amazon had the
treasonous.
goddamn flag up there. I said, God damn,
Right.
Amazon got the flag. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like no other flag was treasonous, but
It's
that one
showing the
was.
flag, right? Yeah, it's showing the flag up under the American flag when they
Right.
showed it to
Right.
them.
That flag was a force to be reckoned with, and they
Right,
understood that. And if black people saw that, you know what time it was. They knew what time it
right,
was. That was a symbol of treason according to uh, Western society. Anywhere, like
right,
you just couldn't. Now they're putting it up for you.
right.
It was all over the place during Black History Month. Oh, I'm like, what the? I said, what? So I said, what? Like, really?
Can you count suckers?
Can you count? That's not symbolism. That's code for something. Do you have like are you thinking like it's deeper than what I'm trying to portray here. Um
Do the man.
yeah, it wasn't that message did not resonate. It couldn't have resonated with anyone there. Like just looking at the audience, it's just
These
because
cats,
I picked
these
that I
cats
picked
was
that
in the
apart.
rain.
Hmm.
These cats went from Brooklyn to the Bronx and all of these elements with a fucking vest with their shirt out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like I'm like, this is it. They was getting down though. There's no way in the world I would have agreed to come somewhere with no weapons though. Like it just don't make no sense. No, no way. There's no way.
Well, the believers came with nothing. The believers.
The believers led they men into the slaughter.
Right. Yeah, that's treason. Right.
Yeah, yeah, nah, I'm not having that.
He commit.
Where
So, like I said,
look at the shit though. Like on that shit, I'm gonna lead them to the beach. Where the fuck he get that knife from? You know what I'm saying? Like where did it come from?
they were home.
But he got the knife though. Nobody else. Look, they broke the pipe off the shit and all that shit. He had a knife waiting for him and
Yeah,
shit.
it's
Like what?
called. Yeah, it's called. Yeah, we know what it's called. It's called survival. And you're supposed to have remote
Yeah, yeah,
locations for
yeah,
your stuff. Everybody know. Wait,
yeah.
yeah, like no, everybody doesn't
So
know this. No, let me take that
everybody
back.
should have had some. Everybody should have had something that they was
Yeah,
doing.
they didn't. They didn't. This is why he was second in command. Cleon knew.
Yeah, that dude wasn't no joke. I don't have nothing too much to say negative other than he the devil. You
Yeah.
understand? That's um he he was prepared.
Right.
He didn't stay his time at number two, not doing what he was supposed to do.
He didn't even say anything. He just asked, Cleon, are you sure about this? And then that was it. He didn't
Right,
raise up a stink or anything, nothing like that. He just, you know, did the do. And yeah, they never been anywhere before, but they did understand that there was a plan. They knew how to get back home. They did
right,
know that, and where they would meet up if something was to go down. So they did have some sort of plan. So they didn't go,
right.
you know. But the fire at the train stations what threw them off. It's like, uh-oh. And Swan was the one that was saying, we're not going to just walk down this street.
He's he said they were celebrating on the train, like, yeah, in an hour we
Yeah,
be back. He's like, when we back,
we're back. Yeah, yeah.
look, that's a that look.
When we back
That
home.
devil wasn't playing no fucking game out there.
Uh,
If he
yeah, he
ain't had
was
them brothers
smart.
though, he got his ass whooped too. Like, we was talking about some other people that got their ass whooped and some boy. Look, he took an ass whooping. They whooped that boy's ass. I think one had his arms and two of them was they whooped that. The ones in that bathroom.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
Those, yeah, they wasn't no. The baseball bat dudes, they was kind of, but them ones in that bathroom, they wasn't in that bathroom. You know what it was. It wasn't no. Those motherfuckers wasn't no punks up in there. They went in there to get down. Old girl was like, I can't go in there. He was like, you get your motherfucking ass up in here.
That Swan was trained.
Yeah.
He was trained. But he wasn't in charge. He didn't train but the others weren't trained. I mean, if that was the best of the nine that he could get, I don't know. I mean,
The
they
little
all had their
dude
own job.
and cowboy, they was, they wasn't really, they ain't have to get down in them. Them brothers though, them brothers and Ajax, they was they was with it.
They brought the guy to mark, so he
Yeah.
was marking territories that wasn't his. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he was the, what was he? The propaganda. He was somebody. He was somebody.
Yeah,
They had bought him.
he would mark on other people's things, like put the W. But I mean, if you're going down there and you have a truce, why would you want to mark on other people's turf? That was enough.
He was
That like
following
that ain't.
orders. That's what he told him though. He said, I want them. I want everybody to know that we were here. What he
Yeah,
said.
but Cleon's
I,
is a fool for that. That don't make that, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
nah,
You
that wasn't
marking.
Cleon. That was the other white boy. That's what he said.
No, but they brought him. They brought him along. That was his
Right,
job.
right.
Like, why would they bring him? They said 9 delegates, so that's the best 9 that they
And he was
had.
like the
I mean,
smart. And he was smart. He wasn't dumb. They brought him because he was smart too.
no, he was scary. That's all that was. He was scary. Like,
He was
he
on
was
point.
scared the whole time.
He got his ass whooped too a little bit.
He
Him and
did. He got
Cowboy.
hit in the sun with
Cow,
that
cow.
bat. Yeah. Well, how was he able to get up? You know that was a movie.
He had to pick Cowboy up in that park. Boy. He said, "Come on, Cowboy." Cowboy got his ass whooped.
Yeah, he couldn't. He couldn't. I mean, I don't see how they were able to get up if they're hitting that hard. Number one, number two, he couldn't even move. Maneuver around a baseball bat.
The brother had the chain in the bathroom. He snatched that dude by the neck, flipped him. Other brother broke the bat on the dude. Look, they got them brothers. Look, them brothers got that. Them brothers is what saved them. That's how they were still able to make it back to be alive.
Even
Them
with
brothers.
even with the way they were swinging those bats, they would have got the
Right.
ribs would have been in trouble. They were open. I mean, I don't understand how they all didn't know how to
Oh,
fight.
they said the
Anyway,
dude.
whatever.
No, one of the dudes the dude who was the head of the baseball bat group, he broke 3 ribs in that fight scene. They said in the
That's what.
park.
Okay, yeah, because he took the bat and he hit him in his. Yeah, they hit him in his ribs. But I mean, when he was swinging at the Warriors, he was open. They could have disarmed him without before he swung. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like the whole fight scene was just. I critiqued that whole thing. I'm like,
I don't even think they
it's a
had no
movie.
choreography and none of that shit.
It's
Like,
a movie. Yeah,
cause if old dude got 3 broke ribs, some people got fucked up in there.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they got fucked up in some of them fights.
yeah. Because Ajax came with that bat and got him up. I mean, he got him. He swung,
Yeah.
boom, and then they hit the young boy who was marking the place. I'm not sure how he got not him, the cowboy. I'm not even sure how he even got up to walk away from that and be
Oh
okay.
buddy, right. Oh buddy kicked the cop and shit.
Yeah,
Ajax knocked
he
that
messed
first
it.
cop the fuck out.
Hmm.
He like I don't know if that look. He hit him with that motherfucking that hello. That hello darling. He brought that motherfucker from hell and hit his ass. Handcuffed to the bench. He was trying to track the fucking bench away.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
that motherfucker, that devil got upset. He was like, you don't want to try. Like, if he could have ripped, look, I
He
would
would have
have felt,
killed her. Yeah, he was gonna try
yeah,
to
he would have
kill her.
killed the
Yeah,
shit out of her. Yeah, yeah,
he would have killed her. He would have killed her. But I like when Swan threw that bat, the cop, and it hit his shin. That was perfect.
right.
Cause you get hit, and I don't know if you ever got hit in your shin. Like
Oh, yeah, no, you done. You done for.
you
That's the
ain't
ball
get.
game.
It's a wrap. That's all
Yeah,
you got to
yeah,
do when you're in a fight. Do
yeah, the shin
people?
or the
It's
knee. Yeah,
simple to
you,
win fights, and
you done.
without
Yeah,
pulling your weave out and your earrings and messing up your nails. Yeah,
yeah.
there's ways. I think that's what we be teaching self defense, stuff like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
that was enlightening. So we agreed. We agreed, and we were supposed to be fighting. It was
We
Friday
fought
night
a little bit.
fights, right? We did. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. After you made me come with my analysis, which I did not want to do that because I wanted to approach Cyrus in a way where where the organ is why organization fail. I wanted to really blame that on where the blame needs to be put, like the this I wanted to do surface analysis. I didn't want to go back there. That's why I said this type of thing kind of bothers me when we go back to the ancestors to say that they made mistakes. And I mean, I'm okay with that. It's just that I'm not like publicly wanting to I talk amongst my peoples in the camp and
Yeah.
everything like that and stuff, but we don't really like to and this is why I get upset. And you brought up Louverture, and that kind of like bothered me a little bit, because I've been hearing people's analysis about Louverture, and I just think it's not fair, to say half of the things they say when they go after like Booker T. Washington. I don't think it's fair to say what they say about him as well, um, because
What did they say about Toussaint?
that he was an integrationist,
No.
that he needed European validation. I
Yeah,
disagree.
that's very new, and that comes from 1804. It doesn't come from no place else.
Yeah, I disagree with that. But no, no, no. I hear black people talking like that.
Yeah. So these are thoughts that are pushed.
These are and also people speaking about Marcus in that way as well.
These are more thoughts that are pushed. From particular circles of people with they have they have a mission when they do that.
Right, especially if you ain't never done nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For black
Right.
people, especially when you never you can critique like that
Yeah,
and
they're
and
not ready for
and
that whole. Yeah.
and try to
On neither one of
know,
them. Yeah.
right, or think what it was like, when these people were not under submission, was not voluntarily submitting like people do today. you know, voluntarily and being comfortable in all these things, have, open and flapping their gums, talking about the ancestors like that. I have to totally disagree with them when they start that stupid
Right.
rhetoric.
He was unfuckwittable, and then they did the unthinkable. They killed him, and that like that's what I'm saying about the whole thing. They thought that this shit will be over. This is what they think with us all the time. And it wasn't until recently within those time frames that I was talking about earlier to where you could do something with no retribution, with no retaliation. Somebody was coming to see you. The reasons for that. So when they look in that certain time frame about what was going on, and when you look at armed struggle overseas, over on the mother continent. It went from struggle to armed struggle for a reason. And we talked about that at length before, so I ain't gonna get into that.
Yeah, without
But
without retribution. But if you do it on the flip side to the dominant society, and I'm calling them dominant society because this is how it's referred to even in philosophy here. That's what it's
right,
referred to in the papers. And though I'm reading from because I'm studying inculturation right now, but it spans across all of the disciplines and everything that's spoken about in philosophy. It's the same concept, okay, that affects every area of 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 black of the black community, of black civilizations that existed or whatever. They have no tolerance for our
right,
culture. There's
right.
none. There's none. It cannot be intertwined. What we have been doing is taking a little bit of what we know and kind of mixing it in
And
to
when
make
you
us feel
violate, the
better.
penalties are severe. That's the other part. When
Right.
you violate
Right. Hmm.
any place else, anyone else, the penalty is severe. And
Right. And then it talks.
even internally amongst us,
Yeah.
when you violate the
Hmm.
penalty is severe. They don't give a fuck about none of that. Like, man, there's none of that. So there's something in particular that is reserved for our enemies where we become merciful. We become meek, you know, not necessarily fearful. We become merciful. We become meek. We become weak with that shit. Not even, yeah, but
Right, because
anyway.
they would be the majority, right? And or not even the majority. It's basically what they're saying is they have become the authority, so they have won the war. Okay, so it's referring to apartheid. That's essentially what it means. It's out with what you got going. Now you're subject to us, and now you're going to have to deal with our, what does it say here? It says assimilating the tastes and skills, the ideals, virtues, and ideas of the dominant groups. That's what it says. So what we do is we take a little bit of our culture, whatever we know what it is, because a lot of it is a race. A lot of us don't know exactly how things are supposed to be done, right? And you see this in Israel. Those who call themselves Israelites as well have the same are in the same situation, right? It says it in the book. They will not remember, right?
Mhm.
All of these things, but it's written, right? And that's not to be, you know, we must make this clear that in African civilizations, they did right things. They did right things. And it's hard to find. Why? Because these dominants, these people who made themselves the dominants or won the wars, have destroyed everything, moved things around, taken them, put them in museums, taking stolen things. That brings us back to into DACA, right? They, they take the stuff and put it in a
That's
museum.
right.
They don't call it stolen. They call it, this is a museum where you can come and learn about different, cultures and blah blah blah. You know, this is righteous right here. So that's what that is. So you find pieces here and there, whatever. They will tell you the lie to tell you that uh most of their instructions are oral. No, they're written as well. They were oral and they were written as well. There's things that people keep inside or it's passed down, even as far as to in your DNA. You don't even know you're doing the things, right? That has also come out too. You're reenacting things from the past and you have no idea where they came from, right? So it's something in you, and that's where this enculturation comes from. So we inject our culture or whatever we know of it into Western culture to make it our own. And it goes as far as to say, this is how we explain this is how we make the gospel mean something to us. So it's referring to that Christian stuff that we really don't get down with, right? But since we have to submit to this, to find some common ground here, because they're not tolerating our culture, we're going to do this to make it make sense to us while we're under the subjugation. That's basically what it's saying here in this book. So so on the flip side, they're not tolerating it. And what they do is they come for retribution, right? When you flip it
Yep.
around to us, we're not understanding that's what it takes to become the dominant, to bring in something called black supremacy, right?
What we
Yeah.
talking about next week?
What are we talking about next week?
Yeah, what we arguing about next week?
What we gonna argue about?
Yeah.
I wanna bring back no, I don't want to bring that back because you don't be trying to hear what I have to say about that.
What?
Love Jones.
Let's go. I knew it. I'm ready. Let's go. Love Jones. Okay.
I'm gonna.
Hey, we're going for Love Jones. Okay.
I'm gonna try to come with a different way to say things, because you be like rejecting it, like no, because you like to go way outside the movie instead of just seeing
Way
the movie
outside the
what
movie.
it is.
What?
Yeah, for seeing yeah. You just over here adding stuff to it.
Love Jones.
You adding stuff to those situations. We're not talking about Love Jones movie. We're gonna talk about the situations in there, as far as
Yes.
what Nina did wrong, what she didn't do wrong.
Scandalous ass Nina.
No, she didn't do
Mm-hmm.
she didn't do nothing more scandalous than any of those men in that movie.
Scandalous
Okay?
ass Nina.
I'm coming for
do not
every
get a
man in
pass.
that movie.
I ain't coming for every woman in the movie, because them sisters was the bomb. Nina was the weakest link.
You came for Nina. That's all of us. When you
No,
come
that's
after one, you come
that's
after
one.
all of us.
No, because them other
Yes.
sisters was on point. Them natural sisters, that big girl that was her best friend, they was the truth. You understand?
What about that
They
brother's
wasn't.
wife? No, she
What?
told him, she read him like, you ain't ish, and that's why I'm leaving you. And yeah, in the street, called him out in front of his friend, yelling at him in the street. Yes.
Hey.
You love her too? You think she cool
Yep.
too?
Hey, whatever she had to do, what she had to do. Everybody was good except that thing who was supposed to be the centerpiece. Like, nah, we fall out. We get into shit. We get into shit. Like, hey, you got, it's, it is what it is. That's a part of life. But that other shit, like, nah. That scandalous shit, she don't get a pass.
And how black men be acting like that. What was his name in the movie?
Who? Darius?
Yeah,
Or
Darius.
Wood?
Him. Yeah, no, Darius. Him. How he was acting in the movie. Acting, yeah, how he was acting in the movie
He
and
was
stuff.
acting up.
Right, because black men act like they don't care about nothing. And us black women believe that for some strange reason. But yeah.
Save it for the ring, champ.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it for
because
it's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can say to try to defend any of that, even though you're gonna try.
I sure am. And I will be victorious. Okay, you won tonight. You won. You 2-0. You 2-0, champ. You doing good right now.
No,
okay?
you made me. You made
me. Look.
Step
you 2-0.
outside of what I was trying to do.
That's fine.
Because I didn't want to go there, but
hey, look.
So you won that one.
It's a fight. Okay, it's a fight. So you know
won
sometimes
that one.
you gotta.
Gonna give me that?
Nah, you 2-0. No, you 2-0. You got busy today. I came on from your perspective tonight. I lost. I had to what they call it? Concede. I conceded to your point. I came in here with the brother. The brother was supposed to be the champ. I had him looking like the police. So,
I was trying to get at Cyrus and him being a so-called mixie, like you said. I was going to attack it from that. That's I wanted to get with that, you know,
so
because
next week we talking Love Jones, just Love Jones, or Love Jones and Baby
not
Boy.
Love Jones, we not specifically Love Jones, but the issues that were in there. We can argue about that because that Nina was not wrong. She was not all
Okay.
wrong. Okay, not at all. And she didn't do the things you accusing her of
Toxic
doing.
ass.
No, no, no. Mm-mm. See? All right, we're gonna save it. We're gonna save it. We're gonna save it because
Toxic
I have
ass.
strong opinions.
Good.
I have strong opinions. I think I'm gonna pull another movie as well.
What?
Oh yeah, yeah, another movie. Um, the one with Morris Chestnut and Vivica Fox. What's that called?
Two could play that game.
Yes, that one. Yeah,
Another
yeah, that
scandalous
one.
thing.
Yeah, another scandalous.
Scandalous.
Yeah, because
Woo!
I know you want to beat up on Vivica, her character in there, don't you?
Nope.
No.
No. But that's a whole thing that sprung in a couple other things that was there that was not present in Love Jones is worthy of discussion too. How outside influence on your relationship can be your detriment. Is it your detriment or your benefit? So we could look
It
at
could
that because
either way. Either way, one is
yes,
not
so
better than the other.
right. Yeah, we could look at it. We could look at it.
So you think
Because
you think it was a detriment?
look at you. Look at
Her
you.
you
Look,
know, the friends? Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, save it because I want to know the answer to that.
all that. It was a detriment. Well, no, I ain't getting I said that.
Yeah, you said
We
detriment.
got
Could be you said it
yeah,
could be a detriment to your
or
relationship. You said
benefit.
that.
Yes, yes. So we could look at that.
No, no, no,
Uh,
no. You didn't say or benefit. You asked the question.
I said detriment or benefit. I sure did.
Yeah, that was a question. That's not saying that you're agreeing to say that it's a detriment, both a detriment.
One or
It could
one
be
or the
both,
other.
or yeah, you didn't say that at first. You can't change that.
I did say that. So I can.
What?
It's a
The
fight. I
question,
can
right? The question,
look. Ain't
right?
no rules to fight. Okay.
Okay. All
You
right.
you got two wins. So I'm hungry now. Okay. So we're gonna get busy. I'm glad that you brought up Love Jones because it is on. Okay.
It's on. It's on. I feel like she
Love
did what she had to
Jones,
do.
Baby Boy. All look. Don't let me bring up the whole toxic ass, scandalous ass anthology up in there.
Darius
Okay.
was a baby. How about that? He needed a pacifier. That's what he needed.
Yeah, that's true.
How about that? Okay. Okay.
But they do be having black men acting like bitches in movies for no reason. Like, oh, like that. That's a topic. Like, I think we could say that for the week after. The portrayal of black men and women in movies is it accurate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it a proper
The
portrayal?
betrayal. We might agree on that. So I don't think that's a good topic.
I mean, we could fight. Whatever. It still don't matter.
Yeah, but
Cause
you're not gonna say anything wrong against any black woman though, because you're biased.
Nina ass getting the business. Not Nia Long in real life because that is a warrior sister. But Nia Long's character in Nina had the nerve to be named Nina. At that. Huh?
Here we go with the names. Don't worry about the.
Everything matter. No, that shit don't. It's not separate. As we seen today with Ishmael and Cyrus. Okay,
Yeah, but I had to
have a
clear that
resonance.
up because
Have
you
a
was trying to go
resonance.
there. You was trying to go there, so I had to make sure that we know that Ishmael is a African. Okay.
Okay,
All
All you
right.
did was
A black
prove my
a
point.
black African. Let me get that straight,
All,
right there.
all you
Black
did
African.
was prove my point. Okay? When it was Ishmael or Cyrus, who is this white boy? That's right. Who is
You
this
gonna
white
go
boy?
there. You still gonna go
Okay?
there? Really? Really?
I mean, you won, so I'm hating a little bit.
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness. You're gonna
you
keep
two
it
and
and
zero,
see you keep doing that. You keep doing it and then say I won. Okay.
2-0.
Okay. Because
Okay.
you know that's gonna bother me right there because now like I said, the stuff that they do on the movie side, we gotta ignore that. We have to ignore that because they do that stuff on purpose. But Cyrus was an African. So as long
Mm.
as we got the names right, the name is right. So if they
The
calling him
names
Cyrus,
mean
that is an African.
everything.
Right, that's an African, a
Yeah,
full-on
but he ain't.
African.
He
Oh my
ain't.
goodness. You have to look past that because this is theatrics. This is theater.
This
This is
is
theater.
the bullshit. Okay.
you
I
have
made the
to
dark skinned
you have
brother
to
the
look
whole
deeper.
I made him the whole police and everything. Okay. Look, I had to suffer through that. I had to look at myself like, who are you talking? Like, what are you saying?
So
What are you
you let
doing?
go of that idea that he had anything to do with the popo?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're retracting that? What
No,
made you
I'm not
which
retract.
one of my comments made you rethink that? Rethink
I
about
had to
that.
look. I had to look at everything because the police was in pocket. The police was in pocket. They, that train stop proved that. Like that, I had to call that shit into question. And it was too.
So a
I'm
gang
like,
couldn't have done that?
look, I had to reanalyze his entrance and how he's introduced again because on one side he coming in like this fierce warrior, and I'm looking like they could have just smacked this little dude and tied his ass up and got rid of him. Cause he wasn't bigger than nobody, and he ain't look like he even had no throwdown in him. But he came in there fierce, talking that gangster shit. Like he came in there talking like whatever that needed to go. But I'm looking about these reports and shit, like all this shit, where this shit coming from, and you know that shit just look a little suspect. How your top
Well,
man there? You ain't. How your top man there? And you ain't.
um,
That shit just don't go. It don't go well.
yeah,
Like you said.
anybody can, the cops can be paid. They're not loyal to anyone. Remember, what was that
Right.
training? Was that training day? The Russians said that.
Right.
Um, whoever paying
Yeah.
more, yeah,
Right.
and they all got killed. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's not that they're in bed with the cops. It's what I'm saying. It's not that. Like I took that. I took what you said as you were saying that they were in cahoots with, like they were agents or something, or what I'm saying, trying to destroy everything.
Yes. Yes. I had to look at all that. I had to look at all that too. Like, yeah, that's there. That exists. There's an element and an argument that could be made for that case. Yes. They was fucking with the police.
So the
You
police were
know?
on the payroll, so they had that much of an influence. Yeah, they had the biggest gang. I could believe that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
that's
believe
one
that.
part. But then the other part is, what else did it cost? Because this dude was just out in the open. He was climbing on pallets and shit like that. Like he was just out there exposed. Like there's no way in the world, if this is your man, the man, even though historically we've seen it, that shit wasn't supposed to happen. There's no way in the world.
Right before effect, he had to go out there defenseless because he asked everybody there to come defenseless. So to make it like an even playing field, which it wasn't because they never left the Bronx. Everybody had to come to the Bronx.
And that little pea shooter that they had, he was able to get off one shot, a kill shot. Get the fuck out! Like it just
Yeah,
didn't.
one shot. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
And nobody saw it except for the fox. It's
Because he
Yeah,
was
I know.
fucking bored. The only reason why he saw it, because he was fucking bored. He was like, man, what the fuck is this bullshit I'm listening to? This nigga up here talking this shit.
And nobody saw it. I mean, what
Somebody
kind of?
saw
It's
it
supposed to be
because
the
the
best nine.
other dude came in there and snitched.
Yeah, one saw it. Nobody else was trying to say anything. That's another thing too. That's another thing. People saw it and they ain't say nothing.
They passed the motherfucking the little pea shooter from person to person all the way through.
Yeah, but that guy wasn't from their gang, right? He wasn't from. He was from someone else's gang. He looked like them.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like them. It could have been from his
Well,
own,
you
from their
won,
own
so
gang.
that don't matter. You got to fight next Friday, okay?
Yeah,
You
I'm gonna
got to
fight for
fight.
Nina because then you bring up the name, so you already sneak dissing her already.
Had the nerve.
I can't believe you. I can't. I would have thought you'd change your mind by now because we discussed this
Had the
before, and
audacity.
the.
Like Snoop said in Baby Boy, he had the audacity to come up in my motherfucking house.
You see,
He
you
stuck,
saw
hey,
him getting
hey,
amped. He was getting amped.
yeah.
Girls was bouncing.
He was like, is he on a bike?
Yep. All right, so next week then.
Two could play that game and love Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna write down some points from Two could play that game because yeah, it gets real petty like that. It's petty. It's really petty, and I have a lot to say, especially, for the men who were in there handling that whole situation and how they could have done better.
Yep.
Yep. All right, so do I cue or do you do something first? Or
It's after midnight, so can't be after midnight without the theme music. Real quick.
Knowledge bomb. What's the science, baby?
Yeah. Like it's happening. Yeah. Like it's happening.
The job wanted a manger with a banger fresh sets. With a clapper still in traffic cause my sneakers so fresh. With it vote for who the GOAT and who the absolute best. Oh, they think you niggas dope cause they ain't heard the guy dead. See the guy wanted a manger with a banger fresh sets. With a clapper still in traffic cause my sneakers so fresh. With it vote for who the GOAT and who the absolute best. Oh, they think you niggas dope cause they ain't heard the guy yet.
Couple stacks, passport, couple firearms. I ain't trying to do nobody harm.
it was supposed to be 20 minutes, right? 2 hours ago. All right.
Right.
All right, with that being said, Shabbat Shalom in the morning. Shalom.